Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, my name is Sylvia and I make videos on planning with the occasional review. Planning has always been my way of working out problems and solving the day-to-day issues in my life. Join me as I experiment on how to best tackle projects, figure out how to stick with habit tracking, and celebrate the wins, both big and small. So grab a cup or a glass of whatevs and let's get on with the video. Hey planner friends, alright, we are, oh my gosh, tomorrow is December of 2025, okay, and I'm a little panicked. Listen, around this time of year, it's the busiest, we have a lot of socializing, a lot of family stuff, and everyone seems to feel overwhelmed or really overexcited. You never know what you're gonna get. It seems either all the way to the left or all the way to the right, never, evenly balanced. I'm never balanced whatsoever. This is my final planner stack of 2025. Tomorrow is December 1st of 2025. I can't believe we only have 1 month of what I still keep calling the new year. Get over it, Sylvia. I know. Okay, so let's just go through this. I have my sometimes planner, which is named because sometimes I want to plan in here and most of the times I don't. I'm trying to finish this strong, you guys, so we'll get into that. Then I have my cheap, inexpensive planner from Walmart, which is kind of getting the job done, but still needs to be kind of tweaked because it's just not enough. And then I have this, which I started, which was a bullet journal by Moleskine. Not by Moleskine, but the paper is by Moleskine. And I don't know, I abandoned it, but went back to it a little bit, so we'll talk a little bit more about that. And then I have my pen case, so let's get into everything. We'll start with the pen case. Okay, I had one of those huge pen cases that has like one of those wide open mouths, and I had like 75 pens in there. Okay, all of them weren't pens, some of them were highlighters and markers, but it was out of control. I didn't need to carry all of that with me. It was just wild thornberries, and I'm on the go a little bit more now, so I needed to slim down. So I went to this guy, which I got on Walmart, and I don't know. I don't even need all of the things that are in here, but I do like the idea of being able to see everything through the mesh, which makes me happy. I don't know. I don't know why I feel like around this time, I think it's my anxiety disorder and the time of year and the weather and the turkey and, the Thanksgiving hangover. I don't even know of the food. I just feel like carrying all of the things. But I told myself, listen, Sylvia, if you can slim down to just this one, I will allow it, okay? So I had a good talking with myself and I did that, and I'm hoping to thin this out a little bit more. But for right now, it's thin enough to fit into a purse or a tote or even a backpack if you needed to go and have some library days or whatever. It's gonna be okay, and it can sit at your desk and just, keep all of the things so it's not spread out like, your mental disorder all over the table, because I'm telling you, my anxiety disorder is just out of control. But this is what I'm working with right now, and the main pens I'm actually using are the Friction. This is a 3-barrel, but I also have a 4-barrel because it has the green, which I love, but this has black, blue, and red. And I'm loving the multi-barrel pens right now. Maybe it's because I'm using a cheap, inexpensive planner and I just don't care right now, and I like that. Then the Bic pen, which I do love, and it has the blue, the green, the red, and that's black, and then the red. Also, just to write headers and stuff like that, I usually have my Sharpie pen, and of course I always have a mechanical pencil, which I use the most, and all of this other stuff, you guys. Sometimes, but not really, and I'm just carrying it around. It's fine, it's okay. I do use the eraser, and that is what's in here. Then on to this guy, the Someday planner, or Sometimes planner. What did I call it? I think it was Sometimes planner. I don't know. You guys, the weather, it's going to snow at any minute here in Colorado, and it's just so gloomy and dark. The sun is like practically invisible, and I am just, it's draining my battery. Y'all, this is the wrong time to do a video, but whatever, I'm going to do it anyway because it's the time I have. Okay, so in here, I have been keeping, music. Is that what I want to say? I don't know. I have been writing down, let me show you. I've talked about this before. So currently I'm going back to Taylor Swift. I was listening to a lot of rap, and basically what I do is I sit down, I write down the title. This is 1989, and then who it's by, the hours for the album, when it was created, all of that jazz. And then when it was published, I write down all of the names in that album here, and then I give it a score. I was doing out of 5 stars. Now I'm doing out of 10, which I think is a better representation and allows me and other people to understand how I really felt about that individual song as well as that album. So this one was one I didn't want to do right away because it was really confusing to me because I don't know much about Taylor Swift. I know a lot more than I wanted to now that I've been listening to her music because it's a rabbit hole. But 1989, I keep thinking I'm saying 1984, which is like the book by George Orwell. So anyway, 1989 is what I mean. So they had an original album that had 13 songs on it, and then she released, I don't even know if it was the deluxe version, which had extra songs on it, and then she released Taylor's version where she re-recorded a bunch of her old albums and it had newer songs on it. Some of these are voice memos and some of them are actual songs. So I just didn't want to listen to these first 13 songs 3 times, so I put them on here, then took the stuff that was, you know, new on the deluxe version and then the stuff that was new on the Taylor version. Does that make sense? Probably not to you, it barely makes sense to me, but as soon as I dive into them I'll probably know more. So I just put them all on one side. Over here I leave this link for quotes or any thoughts about any of the lyrics or the songs as I'm listening to it. And I have this all set and ready to go so I can listen to this before I go to sleep or when I wake up in the morning, which is usually when I do this, which is really nice because I get to listen to some music and I also get to read other people's writing because I usually have this on my iPhone and I'm looking at the lyrics as I'm listening to the song. So that is what I do here, and I have this on the outside because this is pretty much the only insert that I'm actually using out of this whole thing. I know, it is what it is, but whatever. This is working out great. I hope you guys try this out because it's been really fun. All right, so this is a Traveler's Company standard Traveler's Notebook cover in black. I probably could have said that better, but again, I'm telling you, this weather is draining my battery. I don't know. Anyway, I have 3 inserts in here, technically 4 with the other one, but we have the monthly and the weekly by Traveler's Company, and then I have I forget which one this one is. It might be 005. Is it on here? Anyway, it's the refill free diary that has 2 months on the inside. And the first month, you guys, was a wash. I think I stopped using this. I did write some personal information in here. November 23rd, okay, because they're numbered at the top, even though they don't have the year or the month. Yeah, so on November 23rd, I stopped using this. And so that's okay because they are blank. I can just go ahead and use these as scrap paper to write some ideas, to brainstorm some things for December, and so that's fine. That's great. Okay, they're not going to get wasted, but I am bummed that I didn't make it through the whole month. And of course there is no November 31st, so I had always planned on, I don't know why I stamped that. I was just getting stamped crazy, I guess. I should have put December here because I had planned on using this to be like a brain dump for December. So each month has this cover and it has 1 through 31, where you can, if you use these as lists and use these as like numbers of pages instead of the dates, you can go over here and use an index and write down what's, you know, on page 10 or whatever list you have for that day. But I'm going to go back to using these as dailies, you guys. I'm going to try hard. I did it for a while and it was really nice, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you my mental illness on the page, and I've been medicated before, so I can say that, because it looks crazy. It looks crazy to me. Even when I tried to go back and find some things, I was like, what is this hysteria? It's just, yeah, it's crazy. I don't even know. So I need to go back to dailies because that was working out well, and at least it was clean and I could find things when I was looking for them. I think I was trying to find out when I finished a book, and it was just, it looked crazy. So going back to dailies, gonna give it another go for the month of December, and it's okay if I don't use every single day in there. If I use most of it, then I will be happy with that. Last, we have the weekly, and you guys, I don't know, when was it? Let me look. I haven't really used this since September this week. Here, the 15th through the 21st, is that true? I think so. Like, I've tried to, I've attempted, I've written things in some of these pages, I've even divided it, and it just did not work out. I could not be bothered to open this. I even thought about taking this insert out, putting in its own traveler's notebook with another blank notebook or lined or whatever, and using them for 2 different things, and maybe that would work. But I'm telling you that the monthly, the weekly, and the daily is just too much. I just don't, it's too much. Too much, I know. And so, yeah, I don't know what else I can do, but try to use this for project pages. So for the monthly in here, which I have all set up, I am going to be doing 2 project challenges at the end of 2025. I know, because I'm crazy and I'm a masochist and I don't know what my problem is. Anyway, I'm doing a book challenge, which is not that difficult. I'm trying to finish up my 0 draft for the whole month of December. I'm just going to try to write as much as I can and get it done before January, because I'd like to have that finished before the new year. This is a plausible thing, you guys. I'm not crazy, but if I don't really structure it and work on it, I could possibly end up having to continue it in January, and that would annoy me. So I need to buckle down and do that. I also have a book I'm reading as a challenge, because I think I'm going to be making some videos for that. More news coming on that. So I want to keep track of that, breaking it down into bigger chunks on this calendar. And I have some of these. These printables are by Plan with B. And then in the weekly, I plan on breaking down the projects even smaller, so the video for the week and, you know, what B-roll I need to do, script, all of that jazz. So I actually have something to put in here. And I know what you're thinking, well, Sylvia had regular planning to put in here. I know, but I couldn't handle it. I don't know if it was because they were in 2 separate books. I even moved this to the center, so they were right next to each other, and it still didn't work out. My brain was like, no, we want the cheap planner. So I was like, whatever works, fine. But I'm gonna try to do that for the whole month of December and see if I can finish in here strong. We're gonna see how it goes, you guys. But you know, it's just loosey-goosey, because like I mentioned, this is my sometimes planner. Sometimes I want to plan here, most of the times I don't. And that was what was in here. Okay, then we have these 2, and they kind of go hand in hand. So I started in here trying to plan, and I like setting this up. It's not that difficult for me, and it was working out just fine, but I don't know, something about it, I started to get bored. I had dailies here, and I wanted to go back to a structured planner because I was getting busy and I didn't want to draw things out and, you know, whatever. I still wasn't doing my reviews, but I was trying to work on this. This was Halloween-y time. And I just started to fall off after a while, and it is what it is. And they ended up being kind of empty. This is November. I thought I would do that in here. Didn't even bother staying in here at all for November. So what I ended up doing was coming to the front, and I started to number the pages backwards. So here's page 5, 6 comes after, and then 7, and you know, so forth and so forth. I numbered out 110 pages in here, and I started to make all of my lists in here, and that started to work. I was, you know, working on project pages in here. Right now you see this has a monthly task list for December of 2025, so I can write it out in here. I can move it into this planner when I figure out what stuff in here needs to go just for projects and what stuff needs to be for regular home and, you know, work tasks. And then I just kind of pull from here and put all of it into here. Either I plan it or I schedule it for later. So this is still working out really well, even though as a bullet journal I quit. I just am using this more for like collections, and that's okay because I don't have the type of pages in here that I want to use for that, so it's totally fine. I don't have to carry this with me, but I do like all of my thinking on the page in here. Okay, so here is my cheap and expensive planner from Walmart that is working out well, and I love it. Let me show you how November looked. It's kind of crazy. This was Thanksgiving tasks and cleaning that I needed to get done, and I was delegating things to my niece and also to Jay, making a list for myself. No longer need that. This is a list I'm still working off of, but I need to make a new one. This, I think I moved this movie I still want to watch to another place so I wouldn't forget about it. And these are new things that I need to do either in between November and December or maybe after the new year. These are like, you know, doctors and dentist appointments. So I can move that to here. And this, I guess I can put here until I rewrite and recheck off some of these things. So in November, I had all of my sticky notes up here as the month went on because I wasn't using this stuff. I didn't need to see the top part anymore because we were in these last 2 weeks. And that's true of December. So I've moved everything down to the bottom. So the top couple of weeks that are still, you know, coming up that we're actually going to be in, I can still see those. And then once those are over, I will move these sticky notes and put them up here so I can see the bottom 2 weeks, if that makes sense. I also just put half of a sticky note here because I was writing on this, but then I ended up moving sticky notes over it and then forgetting what the stuff was for last month. So that didn't work out well. I mean, like I started to check it off, left some of these open because I need to migrate them over to December still. But I had a sticky note on here and I forgot all about these things that were underneath it. It was okay because I had them other places. This was just kind of like a brain dump place that didn't work out for me. On to the weeklies. So I got this in, I think, the end of October, beginning of November, and I didn't use it really like that in this week because I was still trying to give it a go in the Traveler's Notebook, but then I dove head first into this and started to use it a lot. Now this is my Friction pen in a 0.5. I know, I don't even know, but this was working out really well for me. And I was putting everything in red at first because some of these things, it felt like they were urgent and important, and then I just kept writing in red even then when it wasn't. Like a few things I wrote in blue because they weren't that emergency, you know, red. But then I just only used red, which was so funny. And then I was setting up some things that need to be checked off by the end of the month. And we're still chipping away at some of these projects and things. But here, I mean, look at this day. Like an explosion happened where I just dumped everything on a Wednesday, but it was stuff that needed to be done. Some here. And I put a little arrow here, but also throughout the week. And I don't know why I did a brain dump here instead of just using this notebook or, you know, something else. But that's what happened. And I was like, oh, Sylvia. And so I was trying to look for some things in here and I just saw a blob of color. And I couldn't find anything. And I was like, we cannot do this anymore. So I really just want to go kind of skinny mini on these weeklies. Let me show you. So like here, I've already started to do that. It's just a little lighter. It's very simple to see what needs to be done. And a lot of this stuff needs to go back to the dailies that I had set up in my Traveler's Notebook. And to show you and remind you what that looks like, because I didn't show you. They were looking like this. And they were pretty clean. It was easy to see what was going on. Very simple. Nothing, you know, I just couldn't open this notebook. I don't know why. I even left it open and it just wasn't working out for me. I don't know why I wasn't reaching for this, but I wasn't. But now that I've seen how crazy this looks, I definitely want to go back to this because this was very clean and very nice. Even though it's messy, it was still clean in order for me to see where things were and what got done and where my notes were. This just looks crazy. This is my anxiety disorder at its height. So now here we are in December. These again are with Plan with B. And I don't know, it just feels like it's a little bit lighter and I have more control over what's happening in December. We'll see how long that lasts, but I have a little December sticky note here. And this is like reading and shows and stuff that I wanted to move week to week with me. And then I have one at the beginning of the month here for stuff that either I need to schedule or that might have to be scheduled or coming up in January. So I have a couple of those. Again, this is a list of me needing to chip away and find out about doctor and dentist appointments here for everyone. Yeah, and so that is working out a lot better. We are here on the last day of November, yet I'm still working on November 28th and 29th because I wrote stuff that I just could not finish here. It is all kind of landing here. So we'll see how much of this I need to pull into December of 2025. All of the months and the days are getting me confused. And what, you know, I might have to either just let go of or schedule for later. We'll see how it goes. But right now I have a lot of stuff to do today, which means I need to wrap up this video. All right, so that is my planning for now. I do have a sticky note for January here in case I need to write anything down and schedule later. I'm still using a Friction pen, which means I can write it down and erase it, which is fabulous. And I have done that a couple of times, but still I forget that I'm using Friction because I'm so used to regular pen that I forget that I can do that. So I still have the sticky notes, which are okay. But you know, can erase things if I want to, which I kind of like. And again, this is just, it's just crazy. I'm not a fan of looking back and seeing all of the red. I like the mix of colors though. I'm not as offended by that, but I don't know why I just stuck with red. Everything was urgent. That's what this says to my brain now that I look back at it. It's like, Sylvia, why was everything urgent? I don't know. I also have this. So this was an A5 sheet of paper that I cut out of a little A5 notebook. And I put down my project 1 and 2. I don't know why I switched them. I wrote this one first. It's okay. And then I wrote down some things like the due dates for when I wanted them done by, the book I was listening to at the time, and I was chipping away at that as I was cleaning the house for the holidays. And then I had my weekly schedule and how it was going to go for this week. I was going to be filming on Mondays and I was going to be writing on Tuesday and Wednesday. Thursday it was going to be Thanksgiving, so nothing was going to get done. I was hoping to add some more hours into Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but everyone was getting sick and I was just tired, just overwhelmed, exhausted. It says did not, and then of course I wrote a note, did not do. That definitely was just not done, and it's okay. I can't reschedule that because those days are already gone. Had some cleaning here, and then to buy list. On the back, I was thinking about breaking down my writing and reading projects even further. So I put this here, and I wasn't chipping away at this, so that was not helpful to me. This I wrote down monthly, not weekly, because this was more for like the week, just because I had a lot of stuff I was trying to get done on top of cleaning and cooking and other things for the holiday week. But honestly, this doesn't help me to put all of my reading on here because it's going to be a new week and I should make a new one of these. And so this needs to be kind of on its own thing. So these are all the books that were available to me all at once. I think I returned a couple of them just because I just don't have time to do all of this reading right now. So I had to return a couple of them. Sorry, my phone rang. So this reading needs to go on its own like little sticky note because some of these things I had to return because I just didn't have the time to read them, and a couple I was able to renew, so that's great. I also had this I had made for the Hobonichi weeks in A6 size. It's smaller than actual A6 because it's meant to be a companion book, and I'm talking about the vertical weekly. I don't have next to me now because I have that put away so I wouldn't touch it anymore. But I cut it out to size just to kind of see like, can I plan in this size? What does it look like? I made one a little bit bigger because this is just the A5 size folded in half, so it might be more traditional A6 size, I don't even know. But this is like my weekly chart that I was talking about, and this is my plans for that little Hobonichi A6 vertical. And so I went ahead and put Jade and Other as a category, reading and audiobooks. Then I had my cleaning for 20 minutes, movies and TV shows, also what I was listening to, and then meals and steps. I didn't end up doing steps in here because I got too busy and I kept forgetting about it. I think I did it one time. And then I didn't put listening in here because I wasn't listening to a lot of music like I normally do because I was listening to more audiobooks as I was cleaning and getting things prepped. Used a little bit of color here, which I like, and I can do this for the next week on the back, or I can start a new one since it's a new month. It's whatever works best for me. I could just do it like this, and on the back just have regular notes on either side or a list. So these are the two things that I have. I know it seems like a lot, but I just didn't have any place really to put in here. And even though there is a nice amount of like notes and idea section in the back here, I really need these things off to the side where I can look at them as I'm flipping through my planner. So I wanted these to be on their own pages, and this wasn't that much work or that serious. I started to kind of fill this out as I went throughout my week. So I didn't have to sit down and do it all at once. This one I did, but it wasn't that difficult. And now that I have, like, I know how many squares it is, I can just count it over and it'll be even easier to make the next time. And that is everything that I'm working with. I also have this, which is my Jibun Techo in A5 size. I ended up finding my B6 Slim one because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to buy another writing board for that, but I found them both. And because this isn't that much taller, I started using it in here as a writing board so I could have sticky notes that I could also pull off to the side. I'm starting to lose my voice, sorry. Off to the side so that I could see what's on my sticky notes and still be able to flip through my planner. This one is just by, what is it, Perfectionism Prints, and I was using the project pages little sticky note because I am going to be working on 2 projects that I want to get done in the month of December. So that is everything, you guys. What are your thoughts? Does this look like a mad woman at work? Probably. I'm trying to get it together and finish December hard, but as everyone else got sick and I couldn't get sick because I was like, I'm making whole Thanksgiving dinner. Either they weren't contagious and they had 2 different illnesses, or it's my turn coming up in December and everything I have planned is probably going to slow down, which are probably odds, right? Probably the odds. And that is everything that I am using in December and my whole setup. How is your planning going? Have you set up a system that you feel like you're going to finish December 2025 strong? Are you ready for the new year? Because I'm not. I'm hoping that December is going to go by very slow, but I have a feeling that because I am so busy, it's going to go by very, very fast. It is what it is, but we're going to work through it. And we always have a plan, right? All right. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I hope this was helpful. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.